Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, dear students, to online class of Government Haji Muhammad Mohsin College, Chattogram. Before starting our class, I want to thank our Honorable Principal Sir, Professor Anjan Kumar Nandi, for uh, giving us scope of getting connected to you and taking class, online class. Though these are not live class, but uh, I hope in this pandemic situation, this class will help you a lot. I'm Muhammad Muntasir Murshid, lecturer, Department of English, and I'm a 31st BCS Education Cadre Officer. Today, we'll read about a person, and he's a very famous person. And I hope you will, if you look at the picture, I hope you know this man. But this number displayed in the picture is very significant number, and it's a very famous number. It is called the prisoner number 4664, and when this number is uttered, then the name come to us is Nelson Mandela. And today we'll read lesson 2 from unit 1, and the title of the lesson is Nelson Mandela from Apartheid Fighter to President. I hope you will enjoy the class. Our outcome of the today's learning will be you will be able to know about Nelson Mandela, and then you can tell about racism, and you will understand about rainbow democracy, and I hope you can write about the name of three Nobel laureate. Nobel laureate is the person who won a Nobel Prize in various disciplines. First, we'll read the text. Nelson Mandela guided South Africa from the shackles of apartheid to a multiracial democracy as an icon of peace and reconciliation, who came to embody the struggle for justice around the world. Nelson Mandela was a guide. He led South Africa from the shackles of apartheid, from the chain of apartheid. Apartheid is the term to use to indicate uh, is a kind of racial discrimination which was available in South Africa at that time. The discrimination between the white people and the black people. Black people are isolated from the society, and they are treated as the second class citizen the of a nation, South Africa. But actually, this is the land of the black people. But black people are dominated by the white people. But Nelson Mandela guided South Africa from the shackles of apartheid to a multiracial democracy. Multiracial democracy, an idea that was given by Nelson Mandela. That in that idea, he expressed that the people of all races, of all color, of all religion will live together democratically, in a democratic way. He was an icon of peace and reconciliation, that means unification. And he uh, was a representative, or he represents the struggle, the battle for justice. That means he fought for justice in the world, in his time in the world. He fought for the black people of Africa and their right established he sought justice for the black people. Imprisoned for nearly 3 decades for his fight against white minority rule, Mandela never lost his resolve to fight for his people's emancipation. He was in the prison almost for 3 decades, almost 27 years, nearly 3 decades. Decades mean 10 years, and 3 decades mean 30 years. But he was in the prison for 27 years, and he was in the prison. He was sent to prison because of his fight against white minority rule. Though the land of Africa is known as the land of black people, but in that land they are ruled by the white minority. But uh, though he was in the prison, he never lost his determination, resolve to fight for his people's liberation, emancipation. Emancipation means liberation, and emancipation means freedom. So that means though he was sent to jail, but he never lost his determination. He was very much concrete in his, and he was very much stick to his ideals of liberating the people, giving black African people the rights, their freedom. He was in the next line. It is said that he was remained to bring down apartheid while avoiding a civil war. But he was in the movement, but he did not want any bloodshed. He wanted to avoid civil war, the war which happens inside a country between the races of that country is called a civil war. And but he wanted to avoid that civil war, but he was determined to bring down, to defeat apartheid from South Africa. He wanted to discard or erase apartheid from the dictionary of South Africa. He did so because he thought he was an humanitarian person. He loved humanity. That's why he thought that why brother will fight against each other. Black people and white people are brothers, so they can't fight together. In the next line, it is the next line is his prestige and charisma helped him win the support of the world. He did not win the support of the South African people, not only the black people of South Africa, but also the white people of the South Africa. Again, he won the support of the uh, globally. He won the support globally because he had that characteristics. He had that prestige. He had that personality. He had that charisma, which helped him to win the support of the world. The next line, in the next line, it said that I hate race discrimination most intensely and in all its manifestations. Mandela said that he hate race discrimination, the discrimination between the races, most intensely, heavily, and any form of display of race discrimination, he hates that thing. In the next line, you see, he said that I have fought it all during my life. I will fight it now and will do so until the end of my days. That means he with very with determination said that he fought against race discrimination in his entire life. He will fight at present and will do will fight against race discrimination until the end of his life. And this speech Mandela gave in his acceptance speech on becoming South Africa's first black president in 1994. In 1994, what happened? Mandela became the president of South Africa, and he is the first black man to be the president of South Africa. Then in his speech, he said that the time for healing of the wounds has come. The moment to bridge the chasms that divide us has come. So, because of the war, because of the discrimination, many because of the discrimination and because injustice in the South African society, people, black people especially, mentally ill, became were in the trauma. And but Mandela said that now this is the right time to heal the wounds of the, to give balm to that wounds, and the moment to bridge the chasms that divide us has come. This is the moment to connect us. That means the white people and the black people. There is a gap. There is a cleft. There is a chasms that divided the South African people, the white people and the black people. But now Mandela has become the president. Now he will build a cordial connection between the white people and the black people. And we have is that we have at last achieved our political emancipation. Here we is the black people, as a representative of the black people, is saying that the black people, as the black people, he became president, his party came to power. That means they got the political rights. It was absent in the last 30 years or 40 years. But now the black people got the uh, political rights, political freedom. In the next line, in 1993, Mandela was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, an honor he shared with F.W. de Klerk, the white African leader who had freed him from prison 3 years earlier and negotiated the end of apartheid. Mandela won Nobel Peace Prize. He won that prize with F.W. de Klerk. That means they both shared the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993. Mandela fought for the people's right. What is the contribution of F.W. de Klerk? He honored that fight, that battle, and he freed Nelson Mandela from prison 3 years earlier. That means in 1990, and they both negotiated. They both negotiate the end of apartheid. That means they both dealt with the end of this heinous system, this very terrible system is apartheid, the racial discrimination. Apartheid is the term is used in the South Africa. It is a South African term in the discrimination which was available in the South Africa is mentioned by apartheid. Mandela went on to play a prominent role on the world stage as an advocate of human dignity in the face of challenges ranging from political repression to AIDS. Mandela was a man of big heart. He fought for the people's dignity. He was an advocate. He was a spokesman of human dignity. And in that, when he was talking about people's right, he had to face lots of challenges, lots of obstacles. Those obstacles range from political repression to AIDS. AIDS is a pandemic disease and political repression. That means he fought against the social disease and as well as physical disease, which like AIDS is a virus-bound disease and like corona. Okay, so Mandela is a man of big heart. He formally left public life in June 2004 before his 86th birthday, telling his adoring countrymen, "Don't call me, I will call you." But he remained one of the world's most revered public figures, combining celebrity sparkle with an unwavering message of freedom, respect, and human rights. Mandela left his public life in June 2004 before his 86th birthday. But before leaving, he told his loving countrymen, his people, that don't call me. You need not call me. I will come to you. I'll call you. I'll come to you. But though he left his public life, his popularity remained same. When he was a political leader, he had the same popularity. He enjoyed that popularity like the stars, uh, like the twinkling stars after his retirement. But in his entire life, before his retirement and after his retirement, he uh, left never left conveying the message of freedom, respect, and human rights. He is at the epicenter of our time, ours in South Africa, and yours wherever you are. Nadine Gordimer, the South African writer and Nobel laureate for literature, once remarked. Nadine Gordimer was a South African writer and she won Nobel Prize in Literature. And she said about him that uh, Mandela was at the center point of hard time in South Africa. Not only in South Africa, but yours. That means in Bangladesh. And wherever you are, that means wherever we are, he was a figure we discussed about Mandela. And I was a a school kid. That time I heard a song of Fakir Alamgir, a famous musician and singer of Bangladesh. And he used to sing like that. I used to sing like that. কালো কালো মানুষের দেশে নেলসন ম্যান্ডেলা তুমি. This was a popular song at that time. I could remember. That means Mandela was a talk of the world, talk of every country. He was at the center point. Why? Because people love him. People always love him. The years Mandela spent behind bars made him the world's most celebrated political prisoner and a leader of mythic stature for millions of black South Africans and other oppressed people far beyond his country's border. The years Mandela spent behind bars, that means when Mandela was in jail, uh, though he government tried to put him in jail, tried to curb the uh, um, his popularity, but it did not happen. Rather, his popularity increased a lot throughout the world, and he became a mythic figure for millions of black South Africans and other oppressed people far beyond his country's border. He was not popular among the South African black people who are suppressed, who are tortured by the uh, South of white South African people. But he was also popular to the people of other countries who are oppressed in other countries. Say people from Philistine love Mandela because Mandela at his time always spoke for the rights of Philistine people. So he's a is absolutely a lover of human human being. He is absolutely love human being. He absolutely loves the people's rights. He talked about people's rights. In then the next line is charged with capital offences in 1963 Rivonia trial. His statement from the dock was his political testimony. Mm, His ideology was expressed in his statement in the Rivonia trial, which happened in 1963, and in that trial he was with that trial he was sent to jail in 1963. And in his statement, he's talked about his ideology. During my lifetime, I have dedicated myself to this struggle of the African people. That means Mandela dedicated his life to the struggle of African people. That means Mandela uh, uh, fought for the African people, and he said, I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. That means Mandela hate domination of any kind. Whoever he did this, he hates the domination. He fought against white domination. If white people dominates others, he fought against that thing. And if black people dominate other, he fought against that domination. And he said that I have cherished the ideal of democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony with equal opportunities. He told the court in the to the court. He said that he has an ideal, and that ideal was about establishing a democratic and free society. A free society is a society where everybody can talk freely, everybody can opine their what they think, what they want to do, but they cannot harm others. This is the concept of the free society, in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. In a free society, in a democratic society, everybody will get equal rights, equal opportunities. Everybody will live equally with equity. This is the concept of democratic and free society. He again said that it is an ideal I hope to live for and to achieve. He want to achieve this ideal, and he had hope to live for these ideals, and he wanted to achieve these ideals. But if needs, and he again is saying that, but if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. That means he will fight for his ideals. If and for his ideals he can sacrifice his life. And this was his testimony of his political ideology. France adored Mandela and fondly called him Madiba. Madiba is the nickname of Mandela. It is the clan name by which he was known. People lauded his humanity, kindness, and dignity. So people praised him, not seeing that Mandela is the president, but because of his work, because of his work for the humanity, because of his kindness and benevolence to the humanity, and because of his dignity and uh, personal charisma. People loved him and praised him. So now I have finished reading the text, and now I'm going to the next slide. So uh, if we can make the summary, that in 1918 Mandela was born, and in 1963 that he faced the trial in Livonia, and in 1990 he freed from jail. Who made him free? FWD Clark. In 1993 he won Nobel Prize, and he shared the prize with FWD Clark. In 1994 he became the first South African black president. In 2004 he left the public life, and in 2013 this man died. We lost uh, a star from the sky of the world, and a man, he was a guardian of the humanity, in the modern period. Is the term racism is very much important, and it is now buzzword in the world, in the Western world, because a man named George Floyd died, if was killed, actually not died, he was killed by the American police, and the American people are in the movement called Black Lives Matters. And these pictures in the slide shows why actually Mandela was forced to fight for the people's right, because they had to it is he was in the prison, and this picture is stuck at saying that their cultural pattern of African black people, but they were suppressed. And here we see that white people are beating black people, and black people are very much are in distress at that time. And here this picture saying that uh, Mandela is loved by the black people very much. Okay, so uh, for racism, Mandela had to fight in his whole life to avoid racism. And racism is also available in our society, uh, and it has very deep root in our society as well. That's why in there is a song like that Kalo Mainia Kalo Bole Koiro na Kahela. It was very popular in 90s, and because we see that black girls face discrimination in our society. And now here are three pictures. Can you name them? And this is Alfred Nobel and Nobel laureate Nelson Mandela and Frederick F.W. de Klerk. And this women is Nadine Gordimer. And so, what is common to these three persons? They all own that prize, Alfred Nobel's Nobel Prize. Okay. And in the next slide, there is so Nelson Mandela established a multiracial democracy. In the rainbow, we see lots of colors, seven colors in the rainbow, and uh, in the face of Nelson Mandela, you're saying that lots of colors are there. The face is in drawn with rainbow, and in this picture, we see that people of different patterns are living in South Africa, and the color of the um, flag of South Africa, and here is also the combination of colors. That means Nelson Mandela transformed South Africa, which was once dominated by the white people, into a nation of rainbow, and South Africa became the rainbow nation because of the movement of Nelson Mandela, and he established a society where Black African, South African, and Indian African are living together, and with their culture, with the culture, uh, their distinct culture. So, your homework, dear students, when did Nelson Mandela become president? And the second question is, do you find any similarity between Mandela and any leader of your country? If you find any similarity between these leaders, then give reasons for your answer. This is your homework. Write down the answer in your house. But as now pandemic is going on, class is closed, and so we don't have opportunity to check your homework. And so thank you, thanks a lot for your kind patience. Okay. Have a great life. And before going, I should say I have some instruction for you. You have to keep your hand clean, and you don't go outside. If you go outside, take your mask and gloves and sanitizer with you, and keep social distancing as far as per possible. You should keep your social distancing in the street, and read whatever you taught in the classroom, and read from your text, and inshallah Allah will help you, and may Allah bless you. Thank you.